the economy growing must be felt, must be experienced, in the sense that, as he's saying, really, you are able to perform certain things. You are able to deal with certain, because basically what it means that then you have created more opportunities for employment, more people are being absorbed. But that's not the story. Now, the story between 2021 and 2022 is that we also had some, not discussion, there was also a rebasing of the economy and a lot of things that went in there, you know, details which maybe we may not be able to discuss. But for me, what is critical is that the Budget Review and Outlook paper, which was published in October last year, and the BPS have similar numbers. Now, between the Budget Review Outlook paper, which basically looked at 2021, 2022, and what happened, I think it was published a bit late, around November, it looked at how things were and did analyze a couple of things. 2 weeks ago, yes, it should be 2 weeks ago, we had the sector hearings, which basically was a time for reality check. This was public participation,
yes,
before the BPS, because the BPS, remember, BPS does not take us to details. BPS provides us with sector ceilings.
Yes.
It gives us the broad picture. There was public hearing, there was a lot of conversations, there was meeting of commissions and a lot of conversations. What has shocked me is that the numbers have not changed. Actually, when you look at the two columns, between BROP and BPS 2023, which is 4 months apart, public participation in there, a lot of reality check, a lot of conversation about this 300 billion cut, and the like have happened. And for me, the question is it that there is no need to listen anymore? Is it that there is no need for public participation anymore? Is it that
it's been like that? I mean, we have been submitting comments.
Yes, of course.
They are never taken on board by Treasury.
Yeah.
What you see here as a draft is what will get finalized.
Yeah. So for me, that's, and I say that because, in fact, I was going to make the same point that Bill, we have submitted, I work in a space where we have submitted memorandums. And sometimes I feel like we are saying what we said last year, and the other year, and the other year to Treasury, and we will submit even on the BPS. We'll still submit even on the BPS, but sometimes it almost sounds defeatist, because if nothing is going to change,
it's a PR.
Yet you have a very clear reality check. The country has started almost at 9.2% inflation. That was the December inflation. Just how much cost of living has gone up. Now we are going back to school, fuel is still high, electricity is high, you know, all these costs. What that should have said is that then it is time to actually even increase the cuts you had suggested, while still taking care. And we are very clear that we need to take care of the social protection side of things. You know, education, food, healthcare, and the good thing is that healthcare actually is meant to have an increase in terms of spending. But then start managing these other costs that the CS Treasury was saying, let's think of how we can, you know, restructure some of these loans, some of these agreements, you know, so that then we are able to action and engage accordingly. So for me, that's a concern. That you, on one hand, you have a reality, which is telling you a very different story. On the other hand, you have a planning and a supplementary budget that says completely the opposite of what you had intentioned, which increases the budget by 32 billion. And then when you look at even the increases for the coming BPS, one of the hugest increases actually is to the National Treasury Administration and Planning. It's about a 66 billion, 62 billion increase. Now, that's not agriculture. That's not healthcare. You know, perhaps it's the Hustler Fund. But I expect the Hustler Fund to have its own, you know, budget line, so that then it's clear on what. So for me, that disparity is what is becoming a problem, because the cost of living is going up and is expected, even from the president's talk, is expected to actually go up. You know, unless you manage, and that's what Bill is saying. Countries across the world are finding ways of subsidizing. And perhaps one way of subsidizing is cutting on some other unnecessary expenditure right now and redirecting the money in what really matters at this particular point.